Hello everybody, I'm going to overclock my CPU AMD 3000G. It is the cheapest CPU for this moment in the summer of 2020. It costs about $50, maybe a little more, maybe a little lower than that price. And I think that there is the best CPU plus GPU from this price. In stock it has 3.5 gigahertz frequency of CPU and 11,000 megahertz frequency of GPU. I have the memory Patrion 2143 megahertz in stock, and I'm going to overclock memory 2. The motherboard is Gygabytee A320M-S2H V2. Instead of name this motherboard, it has B350 chipset, and this is the cheapest chipset that provide to make overclock of your CPU. Let's show you. For overclock CPU, you need to exit in BIOS, press F2 while downloading. Shut off on your anybody. Press F2 when you on your PC and you exit in BIOS. Sorry for my English. In BIOS you should use first menu. Then you should use frequency settings, advanced CPU frequency settings, and in this menu you can set the frequency by digital keyboard. Oh, I'm sorry. Or you can use plus or minus in numlock. This processor stable work at 4 gigahertz or maybe a little more, but I don't have a discrete GPU, and in games I have limit in my integrated GPU vega3, and more gigahertz frequency from CPU it's useless in games. We set 3.8 gigahertz just for interesting, just for we will see that it works, and then we should overclock memory. I did some tests and find the stable frequency, maximum stable frequency. For my memory Patrion 2133 megahertz in stock, the maximum stable frequency is 3 gigahertz. that is, you can set latency, but I don't but it's useless. More in games you can get 1 or 2 FPS, maybe, or maybe you won't see the difference in latency. But the frequency of memory is the important thing. And then the most interesting is GPU overclock. To overclock your GPU vega3, you should set the frequency plus or minus in numlock, or set the value. It is the stable frequency, but in my GPU it's stable 1700 megahertz. But in most manuals in internet I find that the 1650 is the most popular frequency of overclock, and it is not at all. You should set the voltage. For GPU you should set the voltage. You should set 1.2 1.22 volts, or about this value, and then you should save and exit. Let's see our CPU. I'm using CPU ID proc. Okay, we have 3.8 gigahertz in CPU frequency, and 1500 megahertz to 1 unit in memory. Summary: we have 3000 megahertz, 3000 megahertz frequency in our memory, and then we should see the GPU. Okay, successfully. GPU have the value that we set, 1650 megahertz. Okay.